Welcome to the West Ham Voice. Thank you for joining me. Talk an awful lot about senior transfers, but not a lot has been said about the academy and the players that we have there and what's happening with them. There's so much focus on the senior team that we sometimes forget that we've got a thriving academy that with players there that need to continue developing. And it's been quite an interesting summer for quite a lot of our academy players. There's been changes to the Premier League too. As we know, it's gone from under 23s back to under 21. So that has a bit of an impact on who plays for the under 21s now. And plus, giving the academy players some game time beyond just the Premier League too is quite important. So it's interesting that in addition to our senior players, Arthur Masuaku and Nikola Vlasic being on loan, we now have we have 8 academy players out on loan with the prospect of another 2 coming up. So I'm going to talk about them. There's Nathan Trott, goalie Nathan Trott, goalie Joseph Anang and Jacob Knightbridge. And there's also Dan Chesters, Thierry Nevers, Mipo Odebeko and Armstrong Okoflex. And then there's, we heard on Tuesday that Emmanuel Longello has gone to Birmingham City. And plus there's another couple of players that are quite likely to go out on loan before the transfer window shuts. So let's go into them and let's start off with players that have gone to the Championship. First of all, Armstrong Okoflex. Look, I've spoken about Okoflex quite a bit. He joined West Ham United a couple of seasons ago. There was quite a lot of clamour to get the player to sign the player, and we got him. He went through the Celtic Youth Academy, Arsenal Youth Academy before that, and when we got him, it's quite a big deal because he's a highly regarded young player. He's got a contract with West Ham United until 2023. He's yet to make his senior appearance with West Ham, but he's been sent out on loan to Championship side Swansea for the season. Look, I think this is a fantastic deal for the player. He's going to get good. He's going to get game time. He's going to demonstrate what he's capable of doing. And if he can do it well in the Championship, then I dare say that that's going to alert West Ham to offer the player a more lucrative contract at the end of this season. And I dare say there's going to be other clubs that are going to be interested in him as well. And as I mentioned during last season, in the January transfer window, a number of teams came in for him. They wanted to sign him. A number of Championship teams were interested, and a number of Premier League teams in the Scottish League as well. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see how he gets on, and we wish him well. I think it's a fantastic move for him, and it really is going to offer him the opportunity to demonstrate how talented he is. And then on Tuesday, Emmanuel Longello, same day as Okoflex being announced, 21-year-old Longello has moved on a season-long loan to Birmingham City. We all know about Longello. He made his senior debut, or he played for West Ham United in the last group stage game in the Europa League, where a lot of fans were saying he was man of the match. And we kind of all speculated that maybe he'd be one of the players that will now start breaking through into the senior squad. It never really happened. He's had a few injuries as well, which has set him back. But he's now gone out on a season-long loan to Birmingham City. And another opportunity. These two players, Okoflex and Longello, playing in the Championship, are going to give them some fantastic insight, or us some fantastic insight to see how capable they are of demonstrating their ability. And I wish them both very well. I wish all our loanees very well, but these two especially, playing in the Championship, it's going to offer them really competitive football. And let's hope they smash it. And another player who's got a contract till the end of this season, there was a hell of a lot of talk about him being sold. Apparently Nottingham Forest were interested in buying him, etc. But I'm glad we've kept him. And I think there's another player that if he really does well in the Championship, he's another player that we could look at offering a long-term contract to. Let's not forget, we've got a number of players, senior players, that are going to be at the end of their contracts at the end of this season. Creswell is one of them. I know there may be talk about extending Creswell's contract beyond 2023, but if Longello does well, heir apparent. So let's see what happens there. And then for Okoflex, we always need additional talent in the senior squad in attacking midfield roles. So he's got his opportunity as well. Next up, Joseph Anang. Now, Joseph Anang has been out on loan to several clubs, cutting his teeth at lower league level. He was at St. Patrick's Athletic in the Irish League until recently. And then a loan offer came from Derby County in League One. And he switched to Derby County just recently. Look, he's currently out on loan. Apparently, in training, he hurt his hand, but he's on the road to recovery, and he'll be making the ambition to try and get first team football for Derby when he's back from his injury. Fantastic young keeper, developing really well. He's got a contract till 2024, 22 years of age. So let's hope that goes well for him as well. Next up, Mipo Odebeko. Now, Mipo, this is his third loan spell in the last, he was out on loan twice last season to Doncaster and Huddersfield. Didn't really go that well for him. Now, he's gone out on a season-long loan to Port Vale, League One club. Let's see how he gets on. He's still quite young. We kind of forget how young he is. He's still only 19 years of age. When we signed him, a bit like Okoflex, there's quite a bit of a to-do about it because he was a young player, academy player at Man United. Man United were desperate to keep him, but he'd opted to move to West Ham United when we made the offer for him. And I think we know how it all went, don't we? In his first season, Odebeko played for West Ham United a couple of times. Where in the League Cup, I think it was, or was it the FA Cup? When he came on at Man United, Moyes brought him on as a sub, and then Moyes took him off as and to be substituted by Yarmolenko, which must have crushed the young striker's confidence. But Odebeko sort of came out of that saying, I know I need to learn, etc., etc. And it just hasn't quite worked out for him. Okay, this side, League One side, Port Vale, he should be able to smash it in this league. I mean, he hasn't done it in his loan spell so far. But again, we want to see him do well because he's a young prospect. He's the sort of player that the minute it clicks, he'll get going, and he's already started playing for Port Vale. He featured in their game at the other day. So good luck to Odebeko as well. He's also got a contract till 2023. And again, depending on what happens on his loan spell, will be dependent on what happens at his career at West Ham United. Now, here's an interesting one. Dan Chesters. Now, he's gone to League Two side, Colchester United, which kind of surprised me a little bit, to be quite honest with you. He's a highly regarded prospect, 20 years of age. He's got a contract with West Ham until 2024. Look, it's good that these players are going out on loan, but I kind of wondered whether if Chesters was going to go out on loan, whether he'd go to a League One side at the very least. And it was a little bit of surprise. No disrespect to Colchester United, but it was a little bit of a surprise that he's gone to a League Two side. Look, he's been regarded as the next Joe Cole, and we've seen glimpses of him in the Premier in the senior squad. And again, it can only bode well for this player to go out and get a season under his belt and see what he can do. Next up, Thierry Nevers. Now, we bought Thierry Nevers from Reading last season, and he's done reasonably well. Excuse me, in the under 23s, or as it was then. 20 years of age. He's got a contract with West Ham United until 2024. He's gone on a season-long loan to Newport County in League Two as well. He scored 8 goals for the under 23s last season. So let's see how that bodes. I think that's great. Have you seen the pattern? The players have got 1 year left on their contracts have gone to Championship or League One sides, and the players have got 2 years left on their contracts have gone to League Two sides. So at the end of this season, both Nevers and Dan Chesters can come back. Let's see how they do. And then again, they may be sent out on loan, this time to Championship clubs to get even more experience under their belts. So good luck to him as well. I think again, it's great to see our youngsters going out and getting some real experience, real game time, rather than having to play in the under 21s. Right, other players who are in other leagues. Nathan Trott, look, he recently signed an extended contract at West Ham United. I kind of thought it was over for him at West Ham when he had quite a torrid time at French club Nancy, who were in the League Two of the French leagues, and they got relegated at the end of the season. He had quite a quite a tough time, but he came back the stronger, and West Ham United saw enough in him to offer him an extended contract. He's got a contract till 2024 with a 2-year option, 23 years of age. And he's gone out to Danish club, Vegel. BK, and we wish him well as well. He hasn't yet played for the senior team, but he's fighting to get some game time. And people are speculating that perhaps Nathan Trott can become probably third choice or maybe even second choice, depending on what happens with our senior players. We know that Fabianski is in his last year of his contract, but he's got a clause to extend it by a further year. But by that time, Fabianski will be 39 years of age. And of course, we've got Darren Randolph as well, but he's also in the last year of his contract as well. So it's quite possible that with all this loan experience for Nathan Trott, he could come back and he could be second, maybe third choice keeper for West Ham United. And again, we wish him well as well. Jacob Knightbridge. Now, he joined West Ham this season. He's got a 1-year contract with the club, 18 years of age. He was with the under-18s academy, but he's been sent out on loan to Harrow Borough FC. It's a bit of an odd one, this one. Why? I don't quite get it. Why have we bought him and then sent him out on loan for the whole season rather than develop him with the under-18s? Mind you, we've got quite a number of decent young goalkeepers, so let's hope he does well as well. But that might just be a little bit off the radar for everybody, to be quite honest with you. But good luck to him as well. Other players that may be going out on loan imminently, there's Harrison Ashby. Now, we heard unconfirmed interest from Newcastle United. Apparently, they wanted to buy him for £2.5 million. But I'm not so sure that's remotely likely. There's been no corroboration that story is true. However, Preston North End are looking at tying up a season-long loan for the player. They're in need of a right wing back. Harrison Ashby is in need of some game time and some experience, and why not? I think he's one of the players that are quite, a player that could really sort of break through over the next season, next couple of seasons. He's got a contract. He's only signed a professional contract with us till 2020. I've tried to establish how long his contract at West Ham is for. I've got a feeling it says 2024, but don't hold me to that. And I think he's another great prospect. And with just like Nathan Trott, just like Okoflex, just like Longello, Harrison Ashby could be another player that could be knocking on the senior team squad next season if the loan spell goes well. We've not yet got it confirmed. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so by the time this show goes out, it may have already been confirmed. But as it stands, Preston North End have an interest in signing the player for 1 season. And here's the final one is a bit of an odd one, to be quite honest with you, because I remember a couple of years ago waxing lyrical about Jamal Baptiste and Ajibola Olise in pre-season about, I think not last season, not pre-season, I think about 3 pre-seasons ago when he was about 16 years of age and he actually Baptiste actually not only broke into the under-18s, but he also broke into the under-23s at the time. And people were regarding him as well ahead of his time. He showed a really mature sort of approach to football, etc. And I remember in that pre-season a few years back, both Baptiste and Ajibola Olise we were waxing lyrical saying, these are great players, coming through the ranks. They didn't look out of place with the senior team in pre-season training. But it's all gone a bit sort of wrong for him since then. He's been there or thereabouts in the senior squad. He played in Europa League like most of the other young players, but then everything kind of fell away for him. And not only did he go back down to the under-23s last season, but he actually went back down to the under-18s and was training and playing with them. And it's a bit odd. There's talk about there being a possible loan or maybe even a permanent move away from West Ham United. I think at 18 years of age, I think if we can find a decent club for him to go out on loan for the season, I think that would be much, much better and see how he fares before we sort of knee-jerk and move the player on a permanent basis. Look, it's almost like the kiss of death whenever I talk about young players, because I've spoken about so many prospects that I thought were really going to sort of break through for West Ham, and then it just doesn't happen for them. And the last one was Ajibola Olise. So I'm really wishing that Baptiste is going to be kept at the club. Yes, by all means, send him out on loan and see how he gets on, and then take it from there. So we've got quite a it's quite good for these young players to get this experience. We keep talking about our academy, and many people are saying that we don't have an academy anymore to be proud of, etc. I dispute that. I think this is showing some attempt to give these players some experience, some real game time, and see what happens. We know we're going to have another sort of mini rebuild at the end of this season, with quite a number of our senior players leaving because of age, end of contracts, etc., etc. So if we can get at least one or two of these academy players through the ranks and actually have them knocking on the senior squad door, then that will be all the better, rather than having to go out and buy even more players. Yes, buying players is good, in terms of keeping the squad fresh, etc. But it would be great to get one or two of these academy players through as well. That's it from me. Thank you for joining me. If you're new to the channel, please hit the like, subscribe, and bell notifications to let you know when I'm next on. And I'll be back again soon with another show. So much appreciated. And I will see you all very soon.